The situation over at the Conjuring house could be about to get a whole lot messier, right? So basically, long story short, over the past couple of days it's been really quiet on all social media fronts, but that doesn't mean that things have been quiet actually behind the scenes, as yesterday at the time of recording, Jacqueline Nunes was basically expected in court for some appearances, and they went exactly as you would have expected. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about how Sarah Ganelli, who's been kind of covering this kind of stuff for the local news, has also been reaching out to victims of people who got turned away and haven't had their refunds. And she's also potentially going to be speaking to potential new buyer or interested new buyer, Matt Rife, and Elton Casti, regarding the purchase of the Conjuring house and the entire situation thus far. So there's quite a bit to get into for today's video, but let's get first things first. Let's talk about the whole legal side of things. So this comes from the Conjuring house Facebook page, and people over there are very, very close to the matter, and they are kind of keeping everyone up to date. So thank you to everyone that's doing all of their hard work and heavy lifting. But breaking news from your local law reporter / legal analyst. Jacqueline's court appearances today went exactly as expected. Her case has been continued to another pre-trial conference or status hearing set for the January 21st, 2025. This hearing involved mere misdemeanor charges of a DUI and liquor and eluding law enforcement during a high-speed chase over 11 miles per hour over the speed limit. Nothing significant occurred, as these types of continuances are standard. Court proceedings often move much slower and are less dramatic than most expect. I think everyone kind of expects that, like, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard situation when it comes to court cases, where it's just drama, and you're just constantly feeding into it, but apparently nothing like that. As you may know, Jacqueline refused to submit a breathalyzer test, and to my knowledge, no blood draw was conducted either. Because of her refusal, her license will be suspended for a period of time. However, I do think that her license was already suspended prior to this offence, so that's obviously another offence to add to the list of offences. However, the absence of blood test results could potentially strengthen her defence. Since this keeps coming up in the US, when a person hires a private defense attorney, the attorney can often appear in court on their behalf during pre-trial stages. If someone has a public defender, they are more often required to attend in person. Though this varies based on state and the judge's discretion. Every judge runs their courtroom differently. Some are very strict, while others are more lenient. Jacqueline's absence in court today is completely normal and legal. She would only be required to appear if personally during critical stages such as entering a plea, sentencing, or if the judge specifically orders for her presence. Should she fail to appear when mandated, the judge could issue a bench warrant or bodily attachment, leading to immediate arrest and bail revocation. She originally bonded out on a PR bond, a personal recognizance PR bond, also known as a release on recognizance. Is a type of bail where the defendant is released from custody without having to pay any money up front. Instead, she signed a written promise to appear at all scheduled court hearings and comply with the conditions set by the court. If a defendant fails to appear in court, a failure to appear a warrant will be issued, leading to the arrest. Should she then be brought before a judge who would determine a cash bond amount for her release, repeat offenders or habitual violators may be denied bond altogether. Next up, January 21st for the charges, and 24th for Jacqueline will face 5 additional charges related to the October arrest. The shorter gap between court dates, January 10th to January 24th, 14th to the 21st, compared to the previous 1 month intervals, could suggest that the judge wants to expedite the process. But that's purely speculation for now. The video below lists possible sentences for Jacqueline if convicted. Stay tuned for updates. So that's actually really good context actually to understand, because I know a lot of people in the last video were like, well, if she's not turning up to court, then, you know, surely she's just going to get in more trouble. Well, no. Turns out that's not the case. I know in the UK, I think things run a little bit differently. But in the US, it seems that things are a little bit more lenient. But to be fair, if you were like Jacqueline Nunes's attorney, you probably wouldn't want her there in the first place, because you just have to look online, see the chaos that's going on, and just be like, yeah, it's probably best if you're not in the courtroom, because if you just say one thing, you're probably going to incriminate yourself, which wouldn't come as a surprise. But let's have a little look at the graphic, because first of all, this person's taken time to put this together, and second of all, it adds a little bit of context as to what we could be seeing. Right, let's see. Right, so appeared in court today to face multiple charges, including DUI of liquor and eluding law enforcement. For the first offence, she could potentially face the following penalties if convicted: jail sentence up to 12 months. Oh my god, that's quite severe. Fines ranging from $100 to $500. Suspension of driver's license for 1 to 12 months. Mandatory counselling. News back in court on January 21st, 24th. 5 charges related to a 2024 arrest. Right. That's crazy that she could be facing up to 12 months in prison. Like, that seems quite severe. I don't think it will go that far, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, you know, I should imagine that's probably be for, like, repeat offenders and stuff like that. She'll probably get a slap on the wrist, a big fine, and then sent on her way. But someone like Jacqueline Nunes, what does a fine even matter? But moving forwards, Sarah Ganelli, you may know her from Target 12 Investigating and WPRI TV, the person who sat down and did the interview with Jacqueline Nunes, has been doing the rounds recently, trying to talk to as many victims of the Conjuring house as possible. And it's been shared with the group that this is something that Sarah Ganelli has reached out with. So thank you for reaching out to me, and I'm sorry to hear that you've been dealing with this. Did you pay/dispute the charges with your credit card company or file a complaint with the Rhode Island Attorney General's office? Any documentation that you can send me would be greatly appreciated. Also, would you be interested in doing a Zoom interview about what happened? Best, Sarah. Right, so it's very, very interesting to see that she's going to be doing this, and she's probably compiling a lot of information together to see like what she's like able to pull together to put out another video. As far as I'm aware, nothing's dropped on YouTube thus far regarding the Conjuring house. I'll just have another check on that though. So WPRI, let's have a look. Yeah, so it doesn't look as if anything's dropped recently regarding this. I think the last thing that I checked out was probably, I mean, they upload a lot of videos in a day, so you know. Yeah, no, nothing so far, or recently at least. But it looks as if Elton Casti, who's also looking to buy the Conjuring house alongside Matt Rife, could be involved within the upcoming videos that they might be dropping, because on his tweet that said, does anyone know what's happening with the Conjuring house, Sarah Ganelli did actually reach out on the responses and say, hi Elton Casti, can you email me? I can give you an update on where things stand. And then Elton did respond with emailed ya. Now, I reached out to Elton over on Instagram. And I said to Elton, let me just pull up my messages. Basically asked him if he wanted to chat about things and all the rest of it. He's seen the message, but has not got back to me yet. Maybe I'll send a follow-up message. But if he's involved with Sarah Ganelli, then I'm sure, like, you know, he's probably just going to want to stick with that. But I'll keep you as in the loop as I can with everything that happens, but there's a brief update for you guys with everything going on. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.